How often have we heard someone say, "Oh, it's only his imagination"? But imagination is a fundamental part of who we are. Everyone has enough imagination, but few people have learned to control it. Imagination is indestructible, so misusing it can be dangerous. Every day we see people on the street talking to themselves and having imaginary arguments. They argue with vehemence, fear, or hatred, not realizing that their imagination is creating an unpleasant event they will soon face. The world, as seen through imagination, is the real world. It's not facts, but figments of our imagination that shape our daily lives. Those who rely solely on exactness and literal thinking live in a fictitious world. Only imagination can restore the Eden that experience has taken from us. Imagination allows us to perceive the sublime and transform visions into reality. Every stage of human progress is achieved through the use of imagination. Results are sometimes uncertain only because people do not fully imagine and believe. Determined imagination is the start of all successful endeavors. Imagination alone is the key to fulfilling intentions. The person who can summon any image they desire at will, thanks to the power of their imagination, is least susceptible to whims. Through intense imagination and emotion, even someone alone or captive can influence countless others, acting through many and speaking with many voices. William Butler Yeats wrote in his book Ideas of Good and Evil, "We should never be certain that it was not some woman treading in the wine-press who began that subtle change in men's minds, or that the passion did not begin in the mind of some shepherd boy, lighting up his eyes for a moment before it ran upon its way." Let me share the story of a close friend of mine who was a costume designer at the music hall in New York. One day she told me about her struggles working with a producer who constantly criticized and unfairly rejected her best work. He was often rude and seemed intentionally unfair to her. Upon hearing her story, I reminded her, just as I'm reminding you now, that people can only reflect back to us what we silently communicate to them. I had no doubt that she silently argued with the producer, not directly but in her own quiet moments. She admitted that she did exactly that every morning on her way to work. I suggested she change her attitude towards him, imagining he was congratulating her on her excellent designs and she, in turn, was thanking him for his praise and kindness. She took my advice, and as she walked to the theater, she envisioned a perfect relationship where the producer praised her work and she responded with gratitude for his appreciation. She kept doing this every morning, and very quickly she realized that her own attitude shaped her reality. The producer's behavior completely changed. He became the most pleasant and professional employer she had ever encountered. His actions simply reflected the changes she had made within herself. What she achieved was through the power of imagination. Her positive thoughts influenced his, and she essentially guided their interactions even when she appeared to be walking alone. Let's commit to a daily practice of controlling and disciplining our imagination. And what better way to start than by imagining the best for a friend? No matter how dormant someone's character may seem, a small change can ignite a transformation. Instead of blaming, let's focus on resolving. Just like music can turn discord into harmony with a new arrangement, life can do the same. Picture your friend already embodying their desires. Remember, the attitude we have toward others is reflected back to us. To practice this, follow what my friend did. To establish a connection, mentally call out your friend's name. Focus your attention on them and imagine calling their name as you would if you saw them on the street. Imagine that they respond and mentally hear their voice telling you about the great good you desire for them. Then, share your joy in witnessing their good fortune. After mentally hearing what you wanted to hear and feeling thrilled by the news, continue with your daily tasks. Your imagined conversation should stir up what it affirms by accepting the desired outcome. You will naturally take the necessary actions to achieve it, and no thoughtful planning could devise more effective actions than those willed by accepting the desired outcome. Your conversation with your friend must be conducted in a way that shows no doubt about the truth of what you imagine hearing and saying. If you don't control your imagination, you'll find yourself repeating the same things you used to hear and say. We're creatures of habit, and habit, while not a law, can feel like the strongest law in the world. With this understanding of the power of imagination, be disciplined like a wise person and change your world by imagining and feeling only what is beautiful and positive. The beautiful idea you ignite within yourself will surely resonate with others. Don't wait for months to see results. Start practicing control and discipline over your imagination today. Human potential is only hindered by a lack of focus and imagination. The key is to maintain a controlled imagination and strong focus, consistently directed towards the goal you wish to achieve. Now is the acceptable time to give beauty for ashes, joy for mourning, praise for the spirit of heaviness, that they might be called trees of righteousness, the planting of the Lord, that he might be glorified. Now is the time to harness our imagination and focus. When I say control, I don't mean restraint through sheer willpower, but rather nurturing through love and compassion. In a world filled with discord, we can't stress enough the importance of imaginative love. We should switch as the world is, so is the individual, to as the individual is, so is the world. I aim to convey to each of you here today the real significance of Zechariah's words: speak truth to your neighbor, and let none of you harbor evil thoughts against them. It's a fantastic challenge for both you and me. As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. As a man imagines, so is he. Sow an imaginary conversation, and you reap an act. Sow an act, and you reap a habit. Sow a habit, and you reap a character. Sow a character, and you reap your destiny. Through imagination, we're all shaping our destinies, whether they turn out good, bad, or indifferent. Imagination holds the complete power to make things real, and every step of human advancement or decline is driven by imagination. I agree with William Blake's sentiment: what appears to be true is true to those who believe it, and this belief can lead to terrible consequences, even torment, despair, and eternal suffering. Through imagination and desire, we become what we aspire to be. Let's remind ourselves that we become what we imagine. If we keep believing that we are what we aspire to be, we will transform into the image we hold in our minds. We came into this world through the natural miracle of love, and for a while our needs were cared for by others. This simple truth holds the key to life. Without love, we cannot truly live. Our parents, as separate individuals, cannot create life on their own. This brings us back to the fundamental truth that life is born out of love. Therefore, without love, there is no life. It's logical to say that God is love. Love is inherent in us. It's an essential requirement for our existence. Don't search for who you already are. Those who seek love only reveal their own lack of love, and the loveless never find love. Only those who love discover love, and they never need to search for it. You can manifest whatever you want by changing your inner world. You can also change the behavior of people around you. My close friend changed her boss's behavior. You have to become aware that your inner conversations are creating your external environment. As my designer friend changed her inner conversation, she witnessed a change in the behavior of her boss. If you will assume your desire and live there as though it were true, no power on earth can stop it from becoming a fact. All you can possibly need or desire is already yours. You need no helper to give it to you. It is yours now. Call your desires into being by imagining and feeling your wish fulfilled. As the end is accepted, you become totally indifferent as to possible failure, for acceptance of the end wills the means to that end. So, what are you waiting for? Also, if you are manifesting a specific person, then I designed a guided meditation that helped many people. People even shared their success stories in the comments section, where their specific person called them in a few hours or within 2 to 3 days after using this meditation. I have linked this video at the end of the screen. Just click on the first video that appears.